Every year I try out a handful of keyboards for my Mac, but this one is one of my favorites, hands down. This is the Keychron Q2, featuring a 65% layout with a fully customizable control knob, which can do some pretty cool stuff, and of course, totally customizable keycaps and key switches. Here's how it sounds. So let's take a look at the Keychron Q2 right now. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Mac. Be sure to thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and then enable notifications with the bell icon so you won't miss any upcoming videos. So like I said, this is the Keychron Q2, a 65% layout, super compact keyboard, fully mechanical, fully customizable, works with Windows and Mac, all aluminum with sound absorbing foam, screw-in stabilizers to stabilize those extra large keys like the spacebar, replaceable keycaps of course, USB cable, spare parts, along with a keycap remover, a key switch remover, screwdriver, and Allen wrench. So you can really literally take apart this entire keyboard and switch out parts. Of course, you can switch out the switches, switch out the keycaps. It's basically just a smaller Q1 with the control knob built in, and that control knob, like I said earlier, can be customized with macros as well. I'm going to show you how to set that up. There's your Windows Mac switch. You also have a USB Type-C port in the upper left-hand corner, 6.5-degree built-in angle, and there is that textured control knob. I'm going to show you something really cool about this in a second. Here's how much the Magic Keyboard weighs, less than a pound. Here's the larger Keychron Q1. That's getting close to 4 pounds, 3.85 pounds. But notice the Q2, it's almost the same weight as the Q1. So this thing is heavy. It is definitely not going to move around on your desktop. It's going to stay firmly planted on the desk. And even with its 65% layout size, probably not going to be something you want to travel with given its weight. But I love the fact that it's all metal. Of course, you have those removable keycaps. You get the stabilizers there on those larger keys, such as the Enter key. Let me show you how to remove the key switches now. So we're just going to go in there, grab that switch out, just like that. You see the pins? You want to make sure you put those back in the right direction so you don't bend the pins. And my fully assembled Keychron Q2 comes with Keychron G Pro switches. These are red switches, of course, which have a linear response. So when you press it, it literally just goes straight down. There is no click, there is no bump. It is just a linear press. Some people might like that, some people may not. There's those stabilizers there that screw in. And that is a nice feature to keep that space bar and to keep the Enter key or return key stable. So we're going to remove all of these red switches because I want to swap them out for more tactile blue switches. You can see I've removed literally every single switch on this keyboard and it is just bare bones. And this is what it looks like when you purchase the bare bones version. You can hear that steel plate. And notice the south-facing RGB, which faces the typist, and the Keychron G Pro switches allow the light to shine through. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and replace the key switches, these red ones, the linear ones, with the super tactile, clicky Keychron G Pro blue switches. So of course, you don't have to use blue switches. You can use red or brown switches. Honestly, I just wanted to try something different. I think ultimately for typing, the blue switches are the best because they provide the best tactile response, but they are super loud when you type. So that's something to consider as well, because if you like it really quiet, these are not the switches for you. I can tell you that. I'll let you hear what they sound like here in just a second. But first, we need to go ahead and reinstall the keycaps. Let's go ahead and do that now. And here is the end result. Looks exactly the same, right? But it sounds a lot different, and it definitely feels a lot different when you type. Here's what it sounds like. So if you're super sensitive to sound, yeah, like I said, these are not going to be the switches for you. Stick to brown or red instead. So here is the USB Type-C cable. Notice Keychron got rid of the aviator cable, and that's actually a good thing in my opinion because that was just needlessly complex. So now that we're connected to our Mac, you can see the RGB lights fire up and they look good, right? And you can fully control and customize the RGB lighting using the built-in function keys. So if I hold function 1 and press the tab button, that toggles the RGB light on and off. Pretty simple, right? So you can also customize the pattern for the RGB light. So if you hold the function key and press either Q or A, you can cycle through the various patterns available. And there are quite a few of them. You can decrease the backlight with function 1S or increase the backlight with function 1W. You can change the backlight hue by using function 1E or function 1D to go in either direction. You can decrease or increase the saturation as well using function 1R or F. And you can adjust the speed of the backlight as well when you've selected an animated pattern. So I'm slowing it down just like that. Now you'll notice there is no dedicated function row, but that isn't as detrimental as it may seem on the surface because this keyboard is highly customizable with VIA. So you can toggle between the various layers using the function keys. So you can set up different commands and different actions based on the layers that you're currently in. So you can see layer number 2 is dedicated to the Mac. You see all the Mac centric keys there. And you also see the pre-configured RGB controls. But you can take this a whole step further by setting up macros. So I can create my own macros to perform certain functions. For instance, I'm going to create a macro that will zoom in and out of the timeline in Final Cut Pro. So all you do is type in the key codes that correspond to the keys that you want to press. So in this case, I want to use Command plus and Command minus. So here I have Command minus and that zooms out, right? And then on macro number 1, I create Command plus, and then I use Shift Z, which basically fits the timeline into view in Final Cut Pro. So I have all 3 of those macros set up. Now I just need to assign them to a particular key. I'm actually going to assign it to, yes, you guessed it, the control knob, which has 3 functions. You can turn it left, you can turn it right, and you can press in on it. So I have assigned those 3 macros to the control knob. So when I turn it left, it will zoom out. When I turn it right, it will zoom in. And when I press on it, it will fit the timeline into view. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other ways you can customize your keyboard. You can customize the various layers. You can customize your lighting if you want to. So you can assign various lighting controls to various keys. And here is that macro that I created using the control knob. Notice, turn it to the left, zooms out, turn it to the right, zooms in, and then I click on it and it will Shift Z, which will fit the timeline into view when I press it like that. Of course, one of the popular use cases for the control knob is obviously to control the volume and then click to mute. That's set up by default, but I like customizing it to do some other cool things. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think? This is the Keychron Q2. It's an improvement over the Q1 in my opinion. I love the compact size. I love the standard USB cable. I love the control knob. I do wish it had Bluetooth though. No Bluetooth is a bummer, but Bluetooth also has its downsides. Reliability being one of them, battery life being another. Sometimes it's just simpler to have a cable, plug it in, and it just works. Now the fully assembled Q2 with the knob will set you back $180, so not cheap, but there's also a bare bones version starting at $150. So what are your thoughts on the Q2? Would you consider it? Let me know down below in the comments section. Thumbs up if you appreciated this video and subscribe for more videos like this. This is Jeff with 9to5Mac.